I know.
Hey, Audie, I think you have some ladies behind you. Who are those
I
ladies?
do. They're the muses from Xanadu.
Hello, everybody. We're from Xanadu. I've
Yes,
got Miss
Xanadu.
Olivia. She's right
You
here.
have
You may
Olivia
see her
Newton-John. She was
poking through.
just so beautiful. She's
Yeah.
terrible in this movie, but damn, does she look good.
I think she's amazing in this movie. I think she's perfect for the role.
I think something that my husband said when we watched it, and I think he's true. He's right. He goes, "This movie did not deserve Gene Kelly." Because he's wonderful and he looks like he's having a
He
blast.
is.
He looks
He
good
is.
too. The man can still tap. He can still tap. And this was the last movie he did, I think, before he passed, which is kind
Yeah.
of nuts. I also didn't realize, I think Kenny Ortega directed it.
He was a choreographer, I thought.
Choreographer.
But
Okay, thank you.
yeah,
Okay.
because we
Okay.
were watching, I literally watched it last night. So we'll get into all of
Oh,
that. But yeah, Kenny Ortega, his name is as one of the choreographers. For anybody who doesn't know, Kenny Ortega is also the director of Hocus Pocus and has
yep. He
done
choreographed
men
Dirty Dancing.
Dirty Dancing, famous director choreographer. He's done a lot of things. He's still working today. I know something else he's doing. I forget what the name is, but like he's prolific. He's been doing this type
Yeah.
of work for years.
He's done some episodes of Gilmore Girls. I think he choreographed High School Musical. I mean,
Yeah,
what a career! Like that's a
what a
long
career.
career.
And
Um,
a career that I feel like has been a lot of people are trying to chase sometimes the Oscar career or they're trying to chase the big blockbuster movie career. This is a guy that said, no, I want to do something with movies and musicals and really carved a career where he's done adult fare and he's done children stuff. You know what I mean? Like it's really a wide spectrum and all underneath the umbrella of like musical theater, which is pretty cool.
and while did Hocus Pocus do amazing when it came out? No, but is it something people still talk about to this day? Yes.
And 30 years plus, it has become like religion for people that love Halloween. Like they watch it every year. It really is the power of movie. And to be quite honest, Xanadu is like a blueprint of that. Xanadu has also grown into a cult, and we'll talk about our relationships with it, and so all of that. But I'm gonna let Audie kind of guide this one because she has a real personal connection with this show.
Before we get into it, was Xanadu the beginning of the cult classic? I know
Yeah.
it started the Razzies, which it's not really a compliment to the film, but it did start the Razzie Awards. Um, I'm just wondering because okay, so I'll get into it. So the way this all started was I'm actually doing a production of the musical Xanadu. The musical came out in 2007 on Broadway
2007. Yeah.
because we were still in college. I remember
Hmm.
going to New York for the first time with my parents and it was playing. And I had heard of the movie, so I had watched the movie for the first time in college with Nash, my best friend, our friend from college. She was house sitting for one of our professors, Sherry Watterson.
Yes.
She was house sitting. We decided to watch it. She had the VHS, and we were like, "What is this? What is happening?" We were just like, from the get go, I'm alive. It's just like they just go straight into it. They just lean into the, Olivia Newton-John's first thing is this, and I mean, it's just like, what is happening? But the choreography is pretty damn good. I'll give it
It
that.
is. It
So
is.
we watched it. I don't really remember. I remember Gene Kelly, and that was kind of it. I was like, and I remember the long ass dance sequence at the end. So the musical came out in 2007. Douglas Carter Bean wrote the book. He's a great playwright, wrote Little Dog Laughed, done a bunch of other stuff. And when I read the Wikipedia after rewatching Xanadu a couple weeks ago, he was like, it was just one of those things. What did he say? He was like, white men got a hold of this. He was like, I blame cocaine for how bad the script was. So the musical is brilliant though in that it makes fun of the movie. It's kind of a satire of it. Like the lead talks in this really exaggerated Australian accent. Sonny is just kind of like a doofus with short shorts and like a tank. I mean, it's funny. And I remember I wanted to see it when we were there. And I explained it to my mom and she was like, "It's what?" I was it's like, "This isn't going to happen. I'm not going to see this. It's fine." And when we were doing APO, Alpha Psi Omega, the dramatic theater fraternity at SFA, I think you were in England.
APO.
I think you were in England because I was an active and I was pledge mom. They gave me
Mm.
as a gift a burnt CD of the original broadcast recording. I will never forget it. And I listened to it all the time. I thought it was
'Cause
so
it's really
fun.
good.
Yes,
It's
it's
really
fun.
good.
I'm Alive is a great song. Magic.
Suddenly.
There's so many bangers on it. Evil Woman, Strange Magic, like it's wonderful. And I listened to it a lot. And I was just and that's like and I remembered it when I got cast in. So there's a great theater in Houston called the Garden Theater. They've been around 5 years and people they do straight plays and musicals, but they're really known for their musicals. So I had been wanting to get involved, but they hadn't had an open call in a while. And I was like, okay, I'll just kind of like keep checking. We'll see. And I had emailed the artistic director and told him, like, hey, if you have an open call, like an audition for anything this season, let me know. And I had told myself that I wasn't going to do any video auditions this year. Like, I just made a pact. I was like, I'm not doing them. I don't like them. They don't do anything for me. I said, no, I'm not doing it. So they post that they're doing Xanadu, and it's a video call. And I was like, but I'm like, you know what? I think I should just do it. This could be really fun. It's like a fun, campy musical. And I sang Call Me for my video and then went to the callback. The callback was a blast. We did a dance combination, did some cold reads. I had to sing Evil Woman, and then that was it. It's just been a blast. It's hard not to have fun doing that show. It's just like, and the character I'm playing is actually not in the movie. So the musical's actually added like a plot to kind of, it actually would have worked really well for the movie now that I think about it, but it works well for the show. It's short, hour and a half, no intermission. And it's just, yeah, we're having a blast. We had roller skating rehearsal this week, which was so fun. My skates are like a Tiffany blue color. They light up, the wheels light up as I roll. So I've been like practicing and like we only skate at the end. But it's just been a blast. It's so much fun. I think people are gonna love it. I think if you've seen the movie, you'll like it even more. And we're actually River Oaks Theater, a movie theater in town. It's been a Houston institution for years. My mother saw Cabaret there back in the day. They are showing Xanadu on August 8th, and the cast is
Mm.
going to do a sing through afterwards and like a little Q&A. So I'm gonna experience Xanadu on the big screen for the first time.
You can't escape the
No,
Xanadu.
exactly. But yeah, it's just been so much fun and
That's
yeah,
amazing.
the movie just kind of is what it is. I'm very curious though when we go to see it, like, Rocky Horror is cult status. And when you go see Rocky Horror at a midnight show or what have you, there's people of all age ranges, but it's appealed to young people too. I think because
Hmm.
there's usually a production of it going on somewhere. Remember in college, they'll show it on screen. Like you kind of just get a hold of it somehow. Xanadu, not so much. It's like it doesn't have, I guess, unless you were there or knew someone who watched it, you don't really know. I mean, would you agree with that? So I'm curious the type of people like who are like gung ho to go see it. Like, what's the demographic going to be? Is it going to be older? Will there be any? Like, that's what I'm very
Well, see,
curious to
that's
see.
that's the thing about Xanadu that I think is very different than, say, Rocky Horror, which I think if I'm correct, Rocky Horror came out before Xanadu.
Yeah,
Let's see.
70s, 75,
Yeah.
I
So
think.
I would
Yeah,
say Rocky Horror is probably one of the very first of those cult films, right?
yeah,
And
you're
Rocky
right.
Horror was this piece that I think spoke to theater people, queer people, and also gothic people,
Oh
people that
yeah, that's a good point.
love that like dark thing before we had goths in like when we grew up in the 90s and that became like a real like look in the 80s and the 90s. I feel like Rocky Horror gave people that outlet for that. But what I think Xanadu, so just to let people know, I've never seen this movie before. I had seen a couple scenes with some friends when I went over to their place, and I'm gonna get to that in a second. But ultimately, I just never saw it. There was a part of me, and I'm a filmmaker. a little bit of the film snob, always looked down on this movie as like, oh, do I really want to spend an hour and a half watching this? And I do love musicals, but I would say my entrance into the world of theater came much more from Greek drama, from the love of Greek theater, and really working in theater, doing a lot of like traditional plays. And that was like my
Mhm.
entrance. And I love theater. It took me a moment to get into the more musical self that I am. I'm now a singer. I sing every week and I have different spaces where I sing and I love making music. But I was not, especially when we were in college, like, I got to assistant direct Grease, and I was really already on the director's path
Oh
in
my God,
college,
that's
but
right.
I didn't really get to do musicals in school. And then I went for my program. I don't, I decided to get, I was in a 5 year program, but I did it in 4 years because I came in with college credits and I did not want to be in college for 4 full years. And part of my program was my fourth year, which is all of our senior year. I was living in Europe because of the program that I had. So I immediately went straight into this other world of focusing on European theater, working on devising theater, working on movement based theater, and doing all this type of like nonverbal and also study even deeper knowledge of Greek theater, ancient Greek theater, because one of my professors in England, she was from Greece, and that's really she was a master of Greek theater, and so all of those things had really compounded my early phases of theater. So musicals just were something I kind of grew into. Obviously, I loved the Sondheims. I loved some of the more radical musicals. I am not a Rodgers and Hammerstein fan, so that part of me just never wanted to watch this movie. I
Yeah.
never really like, but I will say this though, in college, so Adi and I were in 2007, we were great friends, and I think
Yeah.
we watched the Tony Awards, and they had Cheyenne Jackson
That's right. And
and
Carrie Butler.
Carrie Butler, and
Yep.
they were doing Suddenly. And you and I remember we just loved that.
It
I
was really
remember
funny.
it was funny, and sometimes we would like, as our friend group with Nash and us, we were the kind of friends that loved to like repeat quotes. We'd love to like act out funny moments and things like that. So sometimes Audie would be like, "Is that a magic book?" And
Oh
like,
my
and you would
God.
just like
That's
get
right. The
into it,
Tony Awards. Yes.
yeah, and that was a really significant moment. And you know, Cheyenne Jackson was so much younger, but he's a good looking guy, and
Oh my
especially
gosh.
then he was
Yes.
like buff in those little shorty shorts, and so for me that was the beginning of like, oh, what is this? Now I had encountered Xanadu because some of our theater friends, as you may know, um, would have little movie parties where they'd like to, maybe smoke some weed or who knows, take a little aphrodisiac, if you will,
Mhm.
and enjoy their movie club. And I remember I was with some other friends and I got invited to the theater house and they're like, come hang out. And they were watching Xanadu. And I
Oh
came
my
in
God.
at the ending and everyone was a little druggied and stoned. And I was just like, I don't know what the fuck this is. And everyone was like, oh my God, you haven't seen this? And then that was another part of my relationship to the movie. And I say that because I do think that's what Xanadu has. It has people that love theater. It has people that I think that love campy kind of musicals. And I also think this is a drug movie. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, it's straight up like a movie that I think people watch this movie on ecstasy, watch it on mushrooms, watch it on some type of psychedelic substance because it's such a candy, like taffy type of movie that it it's if you're looking at it literal, you're not gonna like it. Like
No.
if you're trying to look at this movie in a way that you're like in a traditional 3 act structure movie and you're trying to look at it in film, it's not gonna make any sense. But if you go for the ride and you just let yourself stop questioning the reality because they really are trying to be very authentic. Like
Yeah.
they are genuinely trying to. I don't think it's like no one in this movie was like, "Oh, we're making this for people that like to take drugs." No, I think they were genuinely trying to tell the very sweet story, a story that really the stakes are pretty low.
Yeah. A 1,000%.
The stakes like the whole time I was watching, I was like, I love this movie because this movie is like everyone's on lorazepam. Everyone is just like, no, what is that? Other than Sunny, he's the only one stressed out.
He is so, he's probably the weakest link in the movie. Olivia Newton-John is doing her absolute best. Like she really is
Yes.
like, I am playing a muse. I'm going to sing. I'm going to skate. I'm going to do all
Yes.
the things. Gene Kelly is like, I just get to dance and look great. I don't know
Right.
what that man is doing. And it didn't ruin his career. He did the Warriors. So he was
Right.
fine. And he's not bad looking. I was just like, I don't understand. Like, did y'all have an audition for this? Was this all you could find? Like, it's very confusing because he's mad and he's mad from the beginning.
Oh,
He's
he's so
mad from the
angry.
get-go.
And he's not a character that you really want to root for because
No.
but he's also, and here's the thing, and this is what I will say is very authentic. And I do think the story of the artist and the muse is actually closer to reality than we may give credit. Now, the woman coming out of the wall and the fantastical stuff, that is how far you choose to believe and look in that in life and the metaphors.
Mhm.
But a artist, sometimes we like to look at artists, and I think especially in today's celebrity artist world, we love to really look at artists as these like leaders. That's not always, in my opinion, the best comparison for artists because yes, they can be leaders in many ways in the term of the job, but artists are messy. The artistic life is not a straight and narrow life.
No.
It ebbs and it flows. It has high peaks and it has low valleys. And it does not matter if you are the best at your game. We see it all the time, even with top tier artists that have great falls. It is part of the nature of this journey. And being an artist is also inherently self indulgent. Being an
Yeah. Oh,
artist
absolutely.
is a very indulgent thing. And I don't say that in a negative way, but in order to do it right, you have to give yourself the time to allow your creativity, to give it the moment. And I think when you're as a parent or you're working a full time job and you're dealing with family, sometimes it gets harder as you get older to like, can I give my indulgence for my art the time? And I think Sunny really represents this like quintessential type of artist that I think we all encounter, whether that's in ourselves or in our 20s, when it's like, I don't want to do this other thing because I really just want to make my fucking art. And your
Mhm.
muse is always trying to tell you, yeah, don't give up. You just got to believe. And there's something so truthful in this movie that I needed to see this movie in this like weird way. I approached Audie about this and I was like, hey, you're in the show. I think it'd be really cool to do a review. I've never seen this movie, and this will give me a reason to really watch this movie. And in my personal life, I have just finished my newest film. And as we're struggling to figure out festivals and distribution, my personal movie has opened up a lot of things that I'm having to work through. And watching Xanadu was like so just what I needed last night. Like it really was this type of movie that actually was very healing in the sense that it kind of just reminded me of like, hey, you're an artist. Yeah, you really want to make this really fun art and you're in love with making your art, but like you got to get out of your head. You got to get out of your head and you got to go freaking put some roller skates on and go dance at the roller rink. Like there's something beautiful about that message that I think if you look at it cynically, you're missing the point.
Oh, absolutely.
But if you take it in, it's such a positive message. I mean, Gene Kelly really is this guy that's just like, hey, for the last 30 years, I haven't been doing what you're doing, but you brought it back to me. And I'm trying to
Mhm.
tell you, Sonny, you just got to trust. Like, you got to trust in the magic of making art. And there's something magical about it. I mean, you're having your own moment right now of being in this show that's feeding
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. And it's like you just saying how it's indulgent. That's exactly the word I've been trying to look for. Because before we started rehearsals and when I got cast, I was like, I remember saying yes, talked to Michael, I said yes. And in my head, I was like, I feel like this isn't actually going to happen. Like, it just doesn't feel like it was like avoidance. And then they announced
Right.
it, and I was like, oh, I am doing this. Because it's been a while for me. I've been in
Yeah.
mom mode, whatever. But there is a part of me that thinks, I'm like, is it silly that I'm still doing this? I was like, I'm almost 40. I have a 2-year-old. I have a job. Why do I still want to do this? Am I like, is this like silly of me? Is it selfish? I have had those thoughts and I'm just like, but when I'm there, it's fun. Like it's fun. It's a good time. I think as we grow, because you and I are not in our 20s anymore.
No.
We've learned what it means to make art in our way. So it's like, I think you and I have had these conversations where we're like for me, the struggling artist lifestyle was not for me. It's not. I don't think it ever will be. But it's like, can I do a good show, good quality work once in a while that's going to make me happy and take voice lessons and audition? Yeah, that's enough for me. Like
Yeah.
that's enough for me. Can I do it the same way that I used to? No. I can't audition and audition and audition and do back to back to back. That my life is not set up for that anymore. Maybe it will be
Yeah.
again someday. It's not right now. And I think just accepting the new reality of it is okay. But yeah, I have had those thoughts where I'm like, is this silly? Is this silly
Oh,
though?
you just gave me chills though, because honestly, what you just said, I think, is the point. It is the new reality. And
Hmm.
it's the new reality because it's also part of your reality. It's
Yeah.
it's a part of you. It's like the mother, the worker, but the artist is such a part of you too. And the artist is saying, hey, I don't need to do it full time. But just like full time actor moms, there are many actor women that are in their 40s that have kids that are still doing it. And it's never silly because it's part of, if the world wants the full Audi, then the full Audi needs to have that for herself
Yeah.
too. Like you are you are an actor. You are an artist, and this is your art, and it's beautiful because I think one thing that happens as you get out of your 20s and you really start making your art for yourself, and I think this is for every artist, even for people like Zendaya and people that are super ultra famous, your art is that precious and it's only going to be an amount of what you can make. And that is actually what frees you because I think we
Mhm.
do have a lot of comparison. And I think as artists, it's easy to compare ourselves. And especially with social media and everything, and like all these people that love to broadcast, just follow my way of life and you will get what you want. And it's like, it's so easy to forget that it's like, but at the end of the day, as an artist, I really have only these resources and I only have this time and I can only make what I make, but that becomes so much more valuable. You know what I mean? Like when you announced that you were doing this show, I was like, yes, it makes sense. Of course she's doing this show. Are you amused? You're amused, right? In this?
Yes, but I'm one of the not very nice ones.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I'm so excited to watch I want to go see the real show, and off camera I'm gonna ask you when the dates are again because honestly, I really may try to come down and see this
Oh my
show because
God, you should.
I
August
would
14th to
love
the 30th. We run
uh,
Thursdays through Sundays, Thursdays, Fridays, two shows Saturdays, and then Sundays.
okay. I'm going to look into these things because I've been feeling a
Yes.
call to go to Texas, and I would love to see the stage production of this because I feel like
So funny.
something that I talked. So Chris is my partner, and we were watching the movie last night, and he's seen it before.
Hmm.
Chris is, of course, he's like, oh, we're watching with Xanadu tonight. I was like, yeah. I was like, we got to do this. I've got this, we got a podcast, and I was like, I just didn't have time to watch it earlier, and I also kind of wanted to watch it with him because he loved it. He loves this movie. He's one of those people that there have been times when I've come home and he's like watched a clip on YouTube before. You know what I mean? Like he's one of those people like that loves this kind of musicals. He's a huge lover of musicals. And so, last night I was like, we were talking about it, and I was like, I can definitely see why this movie evolved into a musical, and I almost feel like this movie was the blueprint for something so much better. I
Oh,
think the
absolutely.
musical is the evolution of
Yeah.
not the same storyteller, but a storyteller who was inspired by it that took this muse of an idea and took it so much further in a way that I think this is where theater can do what movies can't do.
Hmm.
Theater doesn't always need to worry about plot lines. Theater is like sometimes like stop worrying about the plot. Like let's just have fun. Like let's remember that we're in this experience. And I even hear that the show has way more storylines to it
It
and that
does.
allows it to have a fuller experience. And the mythology of the muses is so much more
Yeah,
fleshed out.
it is. It's very much so. So it like the changes they made for the stage show make a lot of sense. It's more linear. It's like, yeah, it, that's so true. And it's just That is true. I feel like the musical does exist for that to make something even bigger and better. Because the musical did well when it came out too. And I read Olivia Newton-John came to opening night on Broadway, which I'm like, good for you for being able to just embrace that this movie
Yeah.
didn't do great, but she seems like, yeah, I did it. She turned down Grease 2 to do it. So good for her turning that down. We wouldn't have Santa do it. She said yes. But I read that and I loved it. I was like, oh, I love that you can go and watch the girl who played Carrie Butler essentially just make fun of what you did and lean into the silliness of it and just have fun with it.
But I think it's also because as much as they're making fun of it, it's coming out of a place of love.
Oh
You
yeah,
know what
for
I mean?
sure.
Like
For sure.
it's not a mean thing. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's more zingers in the script and everything, but like I imagine that that's part of the reason why it did so well because there's just a love. Like you can tell you're like it's like, hey guys, it's easy to crap on this movie, but also here's this thing where you can laugh at the campiness, but we also love it. That's why we made it.
Yeah.
Because it takes that much love to make something. Like it's not easy to make art out of just anger. And I think especially when it comes to dramatic arts like theater, you there's got to be love because we have a cast and we're all working in reality. We're all working in a physical space, and there's a lot of having to be very human in the theater rehearsal process that
Yeah.
requires actors and directors and craftspeople to let the ego go away. I think that's the one thing about theater is that the rehearsal space and what becomes part of the theater and what brings the thing requires you to let go of the ego to a degree. Like I'm not saying that there's
Absolutely.
not big named actors that don't come in and have their haughty personalities, but like because you're working on this thing organically and it's all taking the actors to create this choreography and then everyone's designing around that, there has to be so much more trust. It's really because it's not just the trust that we need to see that as a cast or as people that are watching it, but it's the trust so that you guys can do the work together.
And that's exactly what it's felt like. Like every rehearsal, like it reminds me of how it first felt when I first started doing musical theater. And I was in my early 20s and doing mainly musicals, ensemble and musicals, and just like, you have like the different parts. You learn the music and it feels a little bit like, okay, we're going to get it. Parts of it are hard, but we're going to get it. And then you get it. And then you put it on its feet and you're like, I know the notes, but they're not coming. But then they come. Then it's like, okay, like each week brings in a new step. And then like now, and there is no ego. Now we're all just like, okay, how do we make this better? How do we work as a unit to make sure that we're
Right.
telling the story? And it's figuring that stuff out has been just super fun. And we get to skate for fuck's sake. I mean, come on. Okay. Speaking of which, I I will say the choreography in the movie, it's badass. Like
Yeah.
those ensemble members are working. They are working. Like you could tell they were like, we just got this major movie with Olivia Newton-John and Gene Kelly. They probably told all their friends and we're like, we're just, I mean, because they are serving, especially in like the number dancing. They're just, I mean, and Xanadu itself, like they skate for a good like 10 minutes and do skate choreography before they even get into the damn song. It's incredible. So I
It's
appreciated the
yeah.
work from them. I was like, good for, good for y'all. I was like,
Nobody came and half-assed it. There's nobody
no,
like they're
that's, I
all
mean, Sunny maybe
doing.
did a little bit, but that's just, yeah.
I also feel like okay, poor Sonny in the sense that I think the actor, he's trying to do the best that he had with the script. But also, they didn't help him either. Like that whole
No.
scene, like there was like a moment when I was like, Chris, like it's so funny that they put him in those little red shorts and that bird shirt, and he's just like he's supposed to be angry and he's supposed to be sulking, and I was like, but he still was like, I still have enough time to put my little shorts on. Like, do you know what I mean? Like
God.
the director, I was like, come on, director, like I get what you're doing, but like you're also like that's part of the reason why this movie is so campy. Is the some of the direction choices are so absurd. Like there's one point when they're like she like shows up at his artist apartment and she's in shoes and then they cut to the next shot and they're all of a sudden roller skating and they're
Oh,
just like
yeah.
roller skating into the studio and they're like what's it called he's like we've got this thing and let me set this up and they like have all these like movie effects thing and then it cuts after that scene and they're like walking down the highway like
Yeah, it's everything
they're,
just goes
they're
so
no
fast. Also, he's such a shit to his employer. I'm like, you don't have a bad job. You get to design art. What is wrong with this job? Like I don't like I don't understand. Why are you so mad about this job?
Well,
Yeah.
yes, and that I think is also part of the thing that I do think with the 2026 sensibility, it's like it's the double-edged sword because his character is that indulgent where it's like, okay, I get it, dude. I get it that showing up and doing the job is killing you. But like at the same time, you have a job that is working. And I think that is where there's this, I think, story that some artists encounter in their lives and their journeys where it's like, if it hurts that much to do a job, then you have to take that as a sign that you have to then either something needs to shift in you that you can show up to work, or you have to then really take it in serious stride. Like, I have to go make my art my full-time job. And I think that like, but that's a personal responsibility thing that you have to take ownership over. And I think when you do it, you can manifest what you're trying to manifest. But in this movie, because I think it's 1980 and they clearly shot it in 79, it does have some of that like white boy wah wah wah. He's fighting the man energy, but it's
Oh
like,
my
dude,
God, I know.
you're being a dick to your boss. Like your boss is just asking you the basic like just show up and do your job. The boss doesn't care that you take these long breaks and then come back and paint, and then they're like there late hours. Your boss is like being like, I called you back because you're really good at painting fast. I'm telling you, like, I like that you can do this stuff. I'm not telling you you can't go do other things. Like, he's not even trying to tell him he's like a shitty artist. He's saying he's good, but this guy hates his boss so much. And I'm like, you're projecting onto your boss because you don't want to work. And that's fine, artist dude. But then, like, you got to take ownership of the fact that you don't want to work is nobody else's fault, other than that's clearly hurting you more than you realize.
Yeah, luckily none of that stuff's in the stage show. That
No.
has been cut. The boss and the coworkers. I don't know how you'd even I mean, I'm sure there's a way, but yeah, thankfully that's yeah, we don't need that B plot.
I think
But,
that's where the movie struggles because
oh my God,
the
yeah.
movie has so many more fun moments when Olivia's in it and they're about the relationship. The fact that they turn into an animated sequence in the middle of the movie
Okay,
is
that killed me. And I actually really like that song and I was like, the thing is, she sings everything, but not live. Like they play like a muffled version of Magic in the back when they first meet. I'm like, oh, so none of y'all aren't actually, you're just playing the ELO version. And she's there. She doesn't sing till the end when she sings
yeah.
Xanadu. And then they just throw in all the ELO bangers. They throw in Full, they throw like just everything. It's like her showcase, but I think that's where it struggles too, because I'm like, well, don't call it a musical if you're not really singing till the end. And then
Yeah.
the animated sequence, they're like fish and then birds and all this shit. God, I was like, I honestly forgot about that.
I that was the big curve when they because like I was with everything and visually as a filmmaker, everything made sense visually. I was like, I am here for your absurd world. I'm here for your. We're in a movie studio. Clearly, we're on sets building this world. Like Gene Kelly's apartment, that is clearly a studio. You know what I mean? The whole Xanadu club at the end is a studio. These are all studio sets that they're trying to make look like they're real worlds. But I loved it because it adds to that old Hollywood big production. But then in the middle, when it turned into an animation, I didn't hate it, but it was so left field because it was like, I get that this is 1980 and animation is more of a thing now. And you could tell that they pulled from like movies like Black Cauldron, from
Oh,
movies
it's
like Sword in the
blatantly obvious.
Stone,
Yes,
and it's
yes.
all those things that they're transforming into a fish, like you said, a bird. Like that's all those things that those animation movies did. And I got that the filmmaker was trying to emulate in that style that fantastical quality, but it happens in no other part of the movie. And
No.
it's such a weird moment because it was jarring, but I didn't hate it. I went with it, but I also was like, I understand why people who probably really like to get high and watch this movie love this
Oh, no,
movie. Be-
absolutely. It lends itself to like, we need to take some drugs before we watch this. Like it
Yes,
lends
it
itself to that.
does. I
A
want an
thousand
edible
percent.
before this movie because it's just
Yeah.
gonna make me like laugh at it, and it's because if you're watching this stone cold sober, your brain is objectively at sometimes questioning the choices. It
Yeah.
just is
And you don't need
like
to.
you
You don't need
don't.
to do that.
No, and that's what's when if you let yourself let go and you just have fun with this movie in many ways, I think you get something really special, which is Olivia Newton-John and Gene Kelly are really just trying to remind you to not give up. Like,
Yeah.
go for it.
And that's what the musical does too. I tell people who are buying tickets, well, I'm like, just go in and have fun. Even my dad was like, "Oh yeah, Olivia Newton," and I was like, "Oh, like everybody knows it on some level." I'm like, "Yeah, just go and have fun. Don't take it seriously. Don't think about it." I think if you've seen the movie, it makes it funnier, but if you don't, it's still just as fun because it's
Yeah.
just ridiculous. Like seeing the movie is not a prerequisite, but still.
But it's fun. And I think if you see the movie before you watch the show, you'll get an even deeper love of some of the jokes
Oh,
that I think that the show
absolutely.
is playing with. And also, what I will say is because it's easy to rag on the movie, but the movie's doing a lot. And I think that it does want to live in its Greek mythology. I mean, there's that whole sequence at the third act when he enters the painting that is
Yes.
behind
That
Adi,
indeed
and
happens in the show too.
yes, and oh, it does. Oh, great. And
Yeah.
Zeus all of a sudden
It's
shows
so
up,
funny.
and I just think that I just saw the Odyssey not too long ago, and that is dealing it's a very different movie, and I'm not trying to get off, but like that movie doesn't really use the gods. And if you know the Odyssey, the gods are very active in the
Yeah.
Odyssey. They're main characters in it. But in the movie, it chooses not to involve them. Um, and I think that's one thing I loved watching about this was that um it was really cool that the gods were involved in this in some way. And I think that's lends itself because I also saw this week Hades Town is in theaters right now. And I've never seen
Yes, it
Hades
is.
Town. I've never seen Hades Town live,
But
but
again, the Greek mythology is a big
it's
factor.
such a big part. And oh my God, if you can go see Hades Town, please go see it. It's incredible
I saw
as
it
a
on stage.
movie.
It's so
Like
good.
it,
Yeah.
and like, because the way they use the camera was so involved, but like the gods are so part of it. And so I really watching Xanadu, I really loved that. That was probably my favorite moment because I think that in the movie was where the stakes got high and it at least showed you, okay, this is the stakes. Sunny is not the stakes, but her character really falling in love with him and like even though I don't think the writing helps her show that she's falling, because all of a sudden she's like,
No,
"I'm in love with you, Sonny," but
no.
like having that epicness of the scene and like the '80s like graphics with the electro lights and everything, and Zeus being like, "She cannot go." It added this spectacle that I think that's where this at least became a big movie. You know what I mean? Because this movie, as big as it is, it almost feels like a big budget indie film. That's what
Yeah,
Xanadu felt
for
like.
sure. Well, if you're in Houston, and for all of you who want to come check us out, we run August 14th to the 30th, Thursdays, Fridays, two show Saturdays, and Sundays. It's going to be at Match in Midtown. And for tickets, go to thegardentheater.org. But it's going to be super fun.
I love it. What is your character's name?
Calliope.
Oh,
I play the Jackie Hoffman track.
you're that track?
Yeah, I play that. So I just get to act like a complete jackass the whole time. It's so fun. I'm trying not to
Oh,
copy her directly because I don't want to. And it's easy. Parts of it, yes. Because it's just like the way she does it is just so brilliant. But I want to I'm not her. So it's like, okay. I'm copying a little bit of what she does in Evil Woman. But yes, that is the track I'm playing. Oh, it's super fun. She's
that's a great role. It's
Yeah.
like a big role in the show.
She's a lot of fun. And she's got a very unique way of speaking and like she is a type. She's a very specific type. Um, and like I said, I don't want to copy it exactly, but what she brings to it, it's hilarious. But yeah,
It is. That's
yeah,
amazing. Okay,
yeah,
cool. Well,
yeah.
everybody, go see this show and congratulations to your team and many blessings. May y'all break a leg and
Thank you.
may the gods and the muses be with you all through this run.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, everybody, that is the end of our episode. And, follow us along. We're on YouTube. Follow our handles on Instagram. You can find them in our description. And yeah, thank you, everybody.